Our next speaker, Sarah Long, is also a rock star, but in this community of UCCS. Sarah, because of your topic, you should know that college was one of my most formative years because it was in that space that I began to see who I really was, began to learn in a different way. So I'm really excited about what you're about to teach us. See, Sarah is a researcher here at UCCS, combining 2 degrees, cognitive and behavioral neurosciences with student affairs in higher education. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah. So she's going to discuss the purpose of higher education and that it is to understand how to learn, not what to learn. So please show me some love as we welcome Sarah.
There's no doubt that having a college education is becoming vital to not only individuals, but to our nation as a whole. Statistics from the Commission of Higher Education have stated that 90% of the fastest growing jobs in our knowledge-driven economy are going to require some sort of post-secondary education. But there's huge expectation gaps as students move from high school to college and then into the working world. It seems almost unanimous that these students are not as prepared as they could be as they move on to the next step of their lives. There are many barriers that play into this, like accessibility and cost. But for the sake of this talk, I want to talk about how we need more innovation to help students prepare. This innovation comes in the form of providing teaching methods that emphasize how to learn, not just what to learn. Many employers are saying that students entering the workforce lack the real-world skills that are needed to succeed, like problem solving and critical thinking. I do believe that it is up to the individuals to implement these skills, but I think that colleges need to step it up by providing commitment to embrace new pedagogies, curricula, and technologies to improve student learning. We're spending way too much time trying to figure out how to get students in and out of the door that we're forgetting the fundamentals that are required to be successful, civically engaged human beings, which is supposed to be the essence of higher education. Richard Keeling states it best when he says higher education must make learning a priority and we should expect nothing less. At the heart of the matter is the need for change on an institutional culture. Making learning a priority will require radical concepts, policies, and practices throughout the academic world. But defining what's wrong won't matter unless we're willing to make a change. We need to make sure higher learning happens in higher education, and we must know what is required for true higher learning. I propose this in 2 ways. First, we need to start being more transparent with our students. We will do this by telling our students what we're asking them to do, why they should be doing it, and how they will be evaluated. This sets up clear and concise expectations. When a student is given an assignment and they know what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they will be evaluated, they'll spend less time trying to figure out what the professor is asking and more time using their critical thinking skills to solve it. The second is by embracing our advancing technological culture in the form of using brain-based learning strategies. Brain research is not just meant for scientists and labs. New research is developing every year on the practical applications of neuroscience and how we can use it in our everyday lives. Brain-based education is defined as purposeful engagement of strategies based on solid scientific research. One strategy is using working memory tasks to measure a student's progress. Working memory is the system that stores a certain amount of information for a short period of time, like memorizing a new phone number. Data has shown that increasing working memory capacity improves performance, academic performance. But what's really interesting is it also has an effect on emotional regulation. This would be a huge asset as so many students come into our future or our college with depression and mental illnesses. Using these types of methods would be incredibly beneficial as higher education enters the era of assessment. From an administrative standpoint, we're able to measure a student's progress and engagement on levels that are both qualitative and quantitative. And from a student standpoint, we're creating an individualized learning system that are able to ease the transition from high school to college. Ken Robinson puts it very eloquently when he says, education does not need to be reformed, it needs to be transformed. The key is not to standardize education, but to personalize it. It's about customizing our circumstances and personalizing education so people are to the people you're actually teaching. It's about creating a movement in education in which people develop their own solutions. I believe that as scholarly practitioners, we have the ability to do this. We just need to use our heads. Thank you.